Hey, I'm Stephen McWhirter, and I've had a great deal of people reach out to me inquiring about the quality of audio that I'm getting when going live on TikTok, when releasing content in general across multiple platforms. And I speak, I do music, and today I want to take a moment to unpack what I'm doing. And also just let you know, this setup, what I do, it might look a little pricey, but I've put it together over years of being a producer, songwriter, recording artist myself. And so there are affordable options, and I will create links with this video in the description to help you find those so that anyone can start in a way that works for them. So let's get started. At its core, the fundamentals of it are pretty basic. Microphone, keyboard, interface, computer, 4-channel amplifier, headphone mixer, and headphones. So before we get too far into the video, I'm going to answer a question that people want answered, and they don't want to have to watch the whole video to get to that answer. How am I getting the quality audio I am straight into my phone for TikTok Live, anything like that? What I'm using primarily is this iRig 2, and it is mostly for guitars, but as you can see on the bottom here, you can plug anything in there with a 1/4-inch cable. You can go from your mixer, from your interface, whatever, straight into this, and then this into your phone. You will need an adapter if you have an iPhone or something like that, and it's only $40. I will put a link for this in the description as well. Another question I get asked a lot is, tell me about your microphone. This is made by Manly Microphones. It's a Manly reference mic. This is not a cheap mic, I'm just not gonna lie to you. But there are alternatives that are fantastic. One is called the Shure SM7, about $400. There are other options that are cheaper if you want. Next is interfaces. Now, the interface is what you plug your microphones into, goes to your computer. I'm using Logic and I run all my audio on that. I do plugins, all these different things. Another option though is a mixer. If you're intimidated by the computer thing, I'm gonna put a link in the description for an affordable mixer that has some effects in it that you could use and bypass the whole computer interface thing altogether. Now I'm using the Universal Audio Apollo Twin. It's around $1,000, sometimes a little cheaper, which can be expensive. The next option would be something like this, the Scarlett Focusrite. There's several of them, several sizes, and you'll get basically what you want. Obviously, you're gonna need a computer. That goes without saying if you're gonna be running an interface and all these plugins, Logic, maybe Pro Tools, whatever it is you wanna use. You're gonna want a decent computer that can handle it. Next is the headphone amplifier and mixer that'll run from your interface to this. Go from this into your iRig, going into your phone using TRS cables like this. TRS cables are important because they're a stereo mix. It's a single cable, so you can hear in both ears, and so can others. This is the headphone mix that's coming out of my interface. That is going into the back of this little mixer here. Then this is my headphones, and these are my two devices. One here is TikTok Live, and one here is Instagram, Facebook, whatever I decide I want to go. But these are all TRS cables. And of course, headphones are important. Make sure they're over the ears headphones that isolate the sound so that they don't bleed through your mic. Next is a keyboard that is MIDI, so you can run a USB cable, USB-C cable, whatever, to your computer. And the reason I do that is so you don't hear the audio bleeding back through the microphone. So it's really helpful for isolating everything, especially when you're going live. If you don't have a computer and you're not wanting to do that, you want to go the mixer route, you could just get a keyboard that has a good internal sound, run that straight into the mixer. What if you play acoustic and you don't play piano, don't like running acoustics in direct? I don't think they sound good, not as much as miking them. And I know this goes against what I said about the piano, which is run direct. With this, I think it's important. When miking an acoustic, position it downward towards the acoustic guitar, away from the vocal mic, so that you don't get this thing called phasing, which is a weird robotic sound that happens that you don't want. You usually want to place it between the 12th fret and the sound hole. That's the ideal, I think, spot. For your mercy never fails me all my days. All right, so this is the software I'm using. It is called Logic Pro by Apple. and it's just the one I prefer. Let me just show you what I'm doing. This is very simple. If I was doing a record or a single or an album for someone or myself, there'd be a lot more happening here. But to keep the CPU down so I don't have any issues when I'm going live on TikTok or any other platform, I have a keys channel, which is just really basic. I have a pad channel, which is like the atmosphere stuff. Of course, then I have my vocal, which you've heard. I'm using it now. And then I have the acoustic guitar channel, which you've heard as well. And then I have an iPod, which is basically just an old iPod I use to play music behind me when needed. All right, now let me show you the keys channel. Now on the keys, I am running Keyscape, which is not a cheap option, but it is what I use. There are other great options out there. You could use just the Bossa Nova or whatever keyboard that comes with this. They sound good too, but this is what I use. It's called the Wing Upright within Keyscape. I don't do a lot within the software. Out here, I just run this CLA compressor limiter, which is about $20 on Waves, and I run it right about here. And usually right about here. This keeps it from like getting super loud all of a sudden over the vocal. Also gets it up to a good level even when it's quiet. Also, I run a very simple EQ on it, which if you go in the EQ that comes with Logic and just go down here to keyboard, and I just hit piano, man, that's it. I keep it real simple. Now the pad channel I'm running something again is not a super affordable option. It is called Omnisphere. And I just run pads, organic pads, ambient, simple, and then I do the wistful oscillation. All right, next is the vocal channel. On here, as you can see, I have a lot more plugins happening because there's a lot more that can go wrong with a vocal, and I want to make sure it's right, especially when I'm live. I want to make sure there's no external noise coming in. So the first thing I put on it is RX Voice De-Noise. This is by Izotope. It is not the most affordable option, but good news, there are tons of free software in Logic that you can use. And there's even presets in a lot of those that can help you get going quick. Next, we have the CLA Vocals. This is just a basic go-to for me. I use this for effects mostly and another compressor. Now I run 3 different compressors because I am using an outboard compressor as well. You don't have to do that. Put it on this spank right here in the middle, keep it simple, a little over 0. These 2 things here are basic EQ, such as bass and tremble, and you can play around with those and see what they do. I keep it right there, just simple. And then there's a reverb and a delay that I will sometimes use. There's the reverb for when I'm singing, then a little delay sometimes too, depending on what I want to do. And I stay away from this. Don't ever want to use pitch live. It can give you all kinds of issues, okay? Stay away from that. Next, I have the CLA compressor again here. Learn to use compression and limiters appropriately. And last but not least is an EQ. Now I do this on my vocal because right around 2K here, I start to get a little bit of a spike in my vocal when I'm singing that sonically is not pleasant. And that is basically it for the vocals. Next is the acoustic guitar channel. And I'm using another Waves plugin, and it's the CLA Unplugged, which is a lot like the CLA vocal plugin. In this, again, you have the bass, tremble, EQ. I leave it alone, and I do turn the compression on and put it at spank again and leave it kind of right around here. Now, I don't touch reverb on this. You can use these and the delay. They are great, but I just like to have a clean acoustic guitar sound. Next is the iPod channel, which I literally have nothing on because it's just playing music from an iPod. This is instrumental music that usually plays behind me when I'm speaking or reading or whatever. And then there is the stereo output channel, the main output. And for this, I like to keep it simple. Normally I would run like Izotope software, a limiter on it, stuff like that. But for this, I'm keeping it low so that the CPU isn't like burning out. And so I only run Fresh Air by Slate Digital. And this just gives it a little life, you know, makes it sound just better. So you'll see. And I believe this software right now is either free or super cheap, which makes it really great. So this is my basic setup for going live on TikTok, for content creation on a day-to-day basis, for social media in general. And it could seem simple to some and complex to others. To me, it just works and it's easy because I don't have to edit anything in the software and then sync it up with video because the iRig, it just goes right to my phone and I'm done. And I post it and I'm on with my life, and that's important. I hope this has been a blessing to you guys. I'm gonna be sure to put in the description on YouTube links to all the products I was talking about, things to help you get going, and affordable options as well. I hope this helps. See ya.